Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to our session on nutrition. So you'll hear about different angles of nutrition, from prevention to nutrition during treatment. In the time together on this topic, you'll have the opportunity to gain knowledge and to really develop a realistic plan to implement healthy changes into your daily diet. And hopefully you'll take a few tips and a few learning that you'll be able to use and apply to your day-to-day. We will first hear from our speakers and be guided through an exercise. You will then be put into breakout rooms to be able to share and to accompany us today and to speak about this topic. We have with us a few speakers. So Judith Blucheau, a nutritionist and specializing in cancer prevention. Hello, Judith. We have Tracey Rapier. Hi, registered dietitian at the Odette Cancer Center in Sunnybrook Hospital. Hi, Tracey.
Hello.
And we're also joined by Cathy Erickson, a colorectal patient. So maybe to start, Judith, could you tell us a bit more about you and your experience?
Yes, sure. So I'm a registered dietitian and a member of l'Ordre professionnel des diététistes du Québec here in Montreal. And for the past 18 years now, I've been working in prevention and health promotion. I'm passionate about food and health, and I love to share my knowledge in nutrition to help people adopt healthy food habits. So I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you so much, Judith. Tracey, would you do the same?
Sure. So I work at Sunnybrook Odette Cancer Center in Toronto as a dietitian. I've been here about 20 or so years, and I work primarily with patients with gastrointestinal cancers, including colon cancer. And I love doing what I do.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Tracey. And Cathy, can you share with the audience your diagnosis and tell us how colorectal cancer has a bit affected your life?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. As part of my wellness journey, I'm sharing this story today. It took a year for diagnosis, and then in December 2019, I was diagnosed with anorectal squamous cell carcinoma. So there was lots of information to absorb at that time, and after reviewing, researching, and absorbing it all, what was offered, I chose radiation and not chemo. But little did I know that this decision would leave me out of the medical oncology loop. A surgeon was then assigned, and after my treatments, if the radiation didn't work, then the surgery would follow. So my radiation plan was changed to include the adrenals, and the treatment started at the end of January, finishing at the end of March 2020. My diet had changed as well to a soft food diet. And I have IBS, which is irritable bowel, and IC, interstitial cystitis. So the combination of those two, IC, limiting the foods that I can eat, and IBS, about creating a careful intake of foods and fluids, with the help of the dietitian, maintaining a good balance for all these issues is an ongoing issue. So, for example, getting enough vegetables and protein and fruit with enough liquids into my diet. We moved to smaller meals and 2 snacks per day, and then changing my main meal to lunch helps with the digestion. And then looking at my fluid intake, that's an ongoing challenge. So my weight's now stable, which was an issue for a while, but everything is charted. So this helps me prepare for questions or navigate through this whole process so I can see if there's any relationships with what I'm eating to what's happening with my body. Or if I hit an air pocket where my mind goes blank, it helps me to write it down and understand and look at things before I speak to my dietitian or any other healthcare professional.
Thank you for sharing, Cathy. It seems that it does require a lot of rigor. So what's the toughest thing for you in terms of managing that diet?
If there's any changes with my food, I have to very carefully eat that same item for 2 days straight, and then see if there's any bodily reaction. So I constantly am aware of what I'm eating and charting, and so sometimes we get into a routine and we forget. So it's good to have things charted down. So.
Yeah, that's really a great habit to have. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Now I suggest that we turn to Tracey and Judith for a short presentation on nutrition, and then we'll go to explain a little bit more for the breakout room. So ladies, the floor is yours.
Okay, so for my part of the presentation today, I'm going to be discussing nutrition before and during treatment, as well as during your recovery. Whether or not there is a special diet for colon cancer as well. And I'll briefly discuss the common side effects that you may experience during treatment, because some of these affect your ability to eat. So just to let you know, many patients wonder if there is a special diet they should be following because of their colon cancer. And in fact, there is no specific diet that is suitable for all colon cancer patients. And more importantly, there are no foods to avoid. So you can eat any healthy foods that you enjoy. Now, there might be individual needs that are based on your treatment pathway, the stage of which you are at in terms of your disease, or if you have any other present health issues such as diabetes, kidney disease, heart disease, and so forth. So the one thing to be very mindful of, though, is investigating your diet on the internet, as this often leads to information that's not suitable or applicable for cancer patients. For example, you might find out about the macrobiotic diet, the alkaline or ketogenic diets, all of which have not been shown to cure cancer or slow the growth of your cancer tumor cells. Although there's no special diet, there are goals of nutrition before starting treatment. The first of which is eating healthy and eating a well-balanced diet. Now, you can do this very simply by following the new Canada's Food Guide, as it is an easy way to maintain a plant-based diet, and Judith will discuss this more in detail at the end of my presentation. What this diet does, it helps to increase energy, it helps you to have better sleep, it may help to fight infection better, and also help to decrease side effects of treatment. Now, before treatment, you also want to keep your weight constant, and underweight patients in particular can become malnourished very quickly, so it might even be a good idea to try and gain 5 to 10 pounds before starting treatment. Also, intentionally losing weight is not recommended during treatment or during the initial part of your recovery. So if you are overweight or even at a healthy weight, just try to maintain the weight you're currently at. There are consequences of malnutrition that can be experienced. If you are not eating enough, you might have some decreased response to your chemotherapy. You would have reduced immunity, therefore increased infections. You might have increased treatment interruptions, which is something we try to avoid. And if hospitalized, you may stay there quite a long period of time. Now, nutrition before treatment, there's some easy tips you can consider to meet those goals. We talked about following Canada's Food Guide, in particular, making sure to have enough protein at every meal, and choosing snacks that have protein, such as Greek yogurt or nuts or nut butters, as protein is important during treatment, and your needs are about 1.5 times more than the average person. So how do we do this? Try to plan ahead. Stock your refrigerator with plenty of your favorite foods to shop less often because you may not be feeling well. Cook large portions of favorite dishes in advance and portion and freeze them. If your friends are offering to shop or cook for you, take them up on it. and have them do it, but in safe practices, especially because of COVID. Save energy by buying easy to prepare foods, natural peanut butter, soups, canned fish, cheese and eggs, frozen meals can all be helpful during that time. And have foods that are easy to eat on hand when you may not be feeling well. Again, soups might be helpful there. Eggs, ginger ale is helpful for nausea, and crackers. Now, when you're going through treatment, there are other goals that are the focus. We're trying to maintain your weight and muscle mass during treatment. Keeping active and exercising if you have currently have an exercise program, keeping it up is helpful. Getting adequate hydration during treatment is very important. Adequate protein, which I mentioned even before treatment, but very important to keep it up during treatment. And this all helps to avoid nutrition-related treatment breaks. So in order to maintain weight and muscle mass, the protein is, as I said, the key component there. And why it's so important is it helps to reduce the side effects you may experience. It also helps to fight infection and helps you to recover more quickly. Adequate hydration is key because we need the extra hydration to flush waste and toxins from chemo through the body. It also helps to decrease fatigue, constipation, along with adequate fiber, of course, for constipation, nausea, and physical weakness. And enough fluid prevents dehydration, which is another key component to helping the body heal and recover quickly. Now, staying active and exercising has benefits as well. During treatment, it would help you to maintain your strength and muscle mass. It helps to reduce anxiety. It also can help with constipation and may help to manage fatigue. Even if you do not lose weight during treatment, you may lose muscle mass without enough protein in particular, and it can help to keep active for the same purpose. And there are studies that have shown loss of muscle mass can result in less effective outcomes or even poorer outcomes of treatment. So again, the reason for the protein. Now, in recovery, you want to continue the same goals for 4 to 6 weeks that you were during your treatment. Again, because it's a healing issue for recovery, your body still requires the same amount of protein to help you to heal, as well as hydration and exercise helps along with the adequate diet. Now, common side effects that you may experience during treatment are quite a few, and I can't go into them in detail today because it would require quite a little bit of time. But loss of appetite, fatigue, taste changes, mouth sores or dry mouth, bowel changes, whether it's diarrhea or constipation. Weight loss is also an issue, dehydration and heartburn, all of which can affect your ability to eat. So know that if there is a dietitian in your cancer center, that is primarily why we are there, to help support you through your treatment and to help to get you over these humps of particular side effects you might experience. I just wanted to show a nice thank you and say to Judith to carry on from here. And I just wanted those pictures up there because none of us are able to travel right now, and I thought it would perk people up. Judith, go ahead.
Thank you, Tracey. So that was very interesting. Let's talk about food that can prevent cancer now. So as you, here, I'll change my, there you go. Food that fight cancer. So as you may know, there's many lifestyle factors that can help prevent cancer and cancer recurrence, including colorectal cancer. And among them, we can find a healthy lifestyle that includes a well-balanced diet, a healthy weight, regular exercise, no tobacco, and a moderate consumption of alcohol can all prevent colorectal cancer, and it also can help you to stay healthy. So what should we eat to help to prevent cancer? So The international leading authority on cancer prevention, which is the World Cancer Research Fund, has found 4 clear links related to a healthy diet that can help decrease the risk of cancer. So the four recommendations are to eat a diet that's rich in a variety of vegetables, fruit, and whole grains, to reduce your consumption of red meat and processed meat, to limit your consumption of alcohol and sugar-sweetened drinks, and also to eat less highly processed foods. So let's take a closer look to all those 4 recommendations, but I'd like to precise that you need to remember that you may need to adapt all these recommendations to your current health situation, as not every patient with colon cancer has the same experience. So it's important to adapt it to your own health condition right now. So let's start with the first recommendation, that's to eat a diet that's rich in a variety of vegetables, fruit, and whole grains. So here you want to make sure to fill your plate with plenty of vegetables and fruit at every meal. So you want to make it half of your plate with vegetables and fruit. And you also want to get a variety of colors on your plate. So you want to try to get a lot of colorful fruit and vegetable. This helps to provide your body with different types of vitamins, antioxidants, and also phytochemical compounds, which are all cancer-fighting molecules. You also want to prefer whole grain foods rather than refined ones, as it helps you to get a little more fiber in your diet every day. So it has been shown that eating enough fiber can help reduce the risk of developing colorectal cancer. So what are examples of whole grain foods? It can be quinoa, barley, it can be oats, whole wheat pasta, whole grain breads, brown rice. These are all examples of whole grain foods. The second recommendation is to reduce your consumption of red meat and processed meat. So by reducing consumption of red meat to no more than 500 grams per week, and also limiting your consumption of processed meat as much as possible, this can help reduce the risk of developing colorectal cancer. What do we include in processed meats? In fact, processed meats are meat that has been preserved by either curing, salting, smoking, drying, or canning. So it can include cold cuts, deli meat, salami, pepperoni, hot dogs, sausages, bacon. These are all examples of processed meat. So you want to try to replace most of your red meat meals and processed meat meals every week by either eating more poultry, fish and seafood, eggs, legumes, tofu, nuts and seeds. These are all good replacement to red meat and processed meat. And a great way to get a little more alternative protein foods in your diet every week is to integrate the Meatless Mondays in your schedule. So what are Meatless Mondays? It's actually where you cook and serve a meal that doesn't include any meat. Why not do it on a Monday, right, for the Meatless Monday? And try to make it a habit out of it every week. So like that, you'll integrate a little more alternative protein foods in your diet. The third recommendation is to limit your consumption of alcohol and sugar-sweetened drinks. So here, there's strong evidence that drinking too much alcohol increases the risk of overall different types of cancer and also colorectal cancer. So it doesn't mean that you need to avoid completely alcohol, but you want to drink it more in moderation. And you also want to avoid drinking large amounts of alcoholic beverage at the same time, since this habit is also linked to a higher risk of developing certain cancer. And you want to keep your body well hydrated. So smart hydration means making sure to drink enough water throughout your day or other healthy drink choices. So it could be tea, herbal tea, milk. These are different types of healthy drink choices. And you also try to avoid drinks that are very high in added sugar. The fourth recommendation is to eat less highly processed food. So several studies have shown that a high consumption of highly processed foods disrupts the balance in your intestinal flora, and this can lead to inflammation that can increase the risk of developing several diseases, such as colorectal cancer. So highly processed foods are usually foods that are ready to use or ready to eat that you can easily find at the grocery store, and they most of the time contain excessive amounts of sugar, fat, and sodium. So these are not the choices you want to go too much in your diet. So you want to cook more often homemade meals using colorful, fresh, and whole ingredients. So how can you do this? So to help you make healthy choices every day, you can follow the recommendations of the Canada Food Guide. Make it a habit to eat a variety of healthy foods every day, so it becomes easier for you to include it in your everyday diet. And as Tracey suggested earlier, you can also try to adopt a plant-based diet most of the time. So what is actually a plant-based diet? It's a diet that focuses on foods that come primarily from plants. So it's a diet that includes plenty of vegetables, fruits, nuts and seeds, different types of oils, whole grains, legumes, and beans. So don't worry, following a plant-based diet doesn't mean that you're going to be becoming a vegetarian or a vegan and that you will never eat meat or dairy in your life again. That it doesn't mean that. It's rather choosing more often foods that that come from a plant source. So now that you know a little bit more about nutrition and how it can help you prevent colorectal cancer, we'd like to help you establish realistic objectives to help you improve your diet. So you may want to pay attention here and maybe go grab a pen and get a paper ready and maybe start thinking about something you would like to improve in your diet. So maybe you have heard about the SMART goals. SMART goals are in fact goals that are established using a specific set of criteria that ensures that your objectives are attainable within a certain time frame. So SMART goals, they focus on small, doable, and realistic actions to help you change your habits over time. And SMART stands for 5 specific words. So the S means specific. So specific meaning that it's easy to attain. It's a small goal that it's for you easy to attain in your everyday life. You want to try here to avoid having a goal that's too overwhelming because you won't be able to achieve your goal. The M in the SMART stands for measurable. Here it means that you can easily track your goal. So when you are writing down your objective, you want to get specific here. So to be able to measure your goal. The A of the SMART means attainable. Here is something that's actually doable for you. So you want to make sure that it's a goal that you'll be able to achieve. Then the R means realistic. It's a goal that works within your current schedule. So it's easy for you to integrate in your current situation and it's not too difficult to reach. And finally, the T means time bound. So you want to make sure here when writing your objective that you get specific within a time frame. Let me give you an example. Maybe it's going to be easier for you to see what's a SMART goal looks like. So let's say my goal would be to eat more fruit every day. So using the SMART goal tool, I could write my objective like this. I will eat 1 piece of fruit at breakfast 5 times this week. So when you look at this sentence, you can find the 5 criteria of a SMART goal. Let me show you how. So when we look at the specific part, it's when we in the sentence you read, I will eat 1 piece of fruit at breakfast. So here for me, it's a goal that's easy to attain. Eating fruit at breakfast is something I like, and it's easy for me to include it in my everyday routine. In the sentence, when you read one piece of fruit and then 5 times, this is the part where it's measurable. So I can easily track my goal throughout the week. And then when you read 5 times this week, this is an objective that's attainable or doable for me. So it means that during the week, if I skip fruit, let's say one morning I don't eat fruit at the breakfast, I'm still able to achieve my goal throughout the week. So it's doable for me. And it's realistic because it's eating fruit at breakfast. So for me, it's something I love doing. It's not difficult for me to reach. So it works within my current schedule and what I like doing. And finally, the time bound is where you can read the part this week. So my goal is specific in time. So this is how you can write a SMART goal. Maybe you can start thinking and writing down your own SMART goals so we can share them in the breakout rooms in just a couple of minutes. But before going in the breakout rooms, maybe I'd like to share to hear Tracey's and Cathy's SMART goals. So Tracey, maybe you can talk about your SMART goal.
For sure. We've lost the screen. Hang on a second. Let's see what happens here. It's not coming out, so I'll just read it off of, oh, there it is. Okay. So my SMART goal was about drinking fluid because I know it's really hard for a lot of the patients that I see here to drink enough fluid throughout the day. And you might want to set something up, for example, for the next month. I will drink more fluid by adding 2 glasses of fluid per day, drinking 1 in the morning and another after dinner. So it's very specific, as in that you are going to have 2 glasses of fluid per day. It is quite measurable, and it's a small measure of the 2 glasses. It is attainable because we do have meals throughout the day, and we usually have beverages with meals. So adding a glass of water during the meal or before the meal, etc., or after dinner can be easily attained. It is realistic because you can drink throughout the day. You don't have to specify any times, just get it done within that 18 hours you're awake. And it is time bound, as you can see, because you've set the next month as doing this as your goal. So that's my SMART goal. Should we go to Cathy? I can change the slide. Cathy there?
I'm here. I'm going to add water-based fruit like watermelon 1 or 2 times daily in my snacks for the next 2 weeks. So my specific part of that goal is that I'm adding water-based fruit to one of my 2 daily snacks, okay? And measurable, that I add 1 water-based fruit to my daily snack. Is it attainable? Well, out of the 1 or 2 daily snacks, I'm sure to include fruit in one of them. The other part too is having something that's in season so it tastes better. Sometimes we see fruit out of season and we try it and we go, well, that's not working. So having things in season helps, being realistic, that I'll eat more water-based fruit because, again, it's that intake of fluids, and this is another way to get it. Time bound, I'm going to look at it for the next 2 weeks and then review.
That's it.
So, yeah.
Thank you, everyone. So thank you, Judith, Tracey, and Cathy for sharing your SMART goal. That was certainly a great example. So I invite the audience to write or type their own SMART goals before we go into the breakout. And while you're doing that, I just wanted to remind you of a few housekeeping rules for the breakout rooms. So please, when you're going to be in those rooms, mute yourself if you're not speaking. If you can, leave your camera open as much as possible. It's like having a coffee with a small group of the community members. So enjoy and take time to do that. So if you can keep your camera, be respectful, be engaged. Please have your phone off and do not use them. There's obviously no recording of the breakout sessions, and they are a safe environment where trust sharing is certainly at the heart of everything. So great opportunity to meet some new community members, share your SMART goals, and make new connections. You'll have about 25 minutes to go through that networking exercise. So you're going to have to click. You should have a breakout square at the left of your screen. So you're just going to have to click on the breakout square or the button. And just one thing, remember, you need to click back to come back to the plenary at the end of the breakout. So you will have also, while you're in the room, you're going to have reminders of the time left. So again, click on the left button that has breakout on it, and remember to click back when it's time to come back. Enjoy your session. So you can now all go and click on the breakouts and enjoy your time in small groups discussion. See you after. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this small, intimate time with some community members. We hear that there's been some technical issues for some of you to join the breakout room. So unfortunately, I'm not the tech expert here, so but we apologize. And we hope that you can still use the SMART goal process to try to have those SMART goals. And again, the community not going away, reach out to exchange and share. Again, apologies, and we hope that some of you, I know that some of the room worked, so please were able to exchange. So we're all back together, and we don't have a lot of time for Q&A. But I wanted to, maybe there's one that kind of popped up in the question line, ladies, that I would like maybe to have your opinion on. I found it was very interesting and probably resonate with a lot of people in the audience. And Melissa was writing, like, as a young person, I love going to patios when they're open. And having a few drinks and on the weekends enjoying like a glass of wine, like all of us like to have probably, and so let loose and enjoy what used to be what we used to do. So without the fear of recurrence, she doesn't want to feel guilty or scared to go and have fun on weekends. So any comments on our, yeah, for Melissa and the audience in terms of how to balance like that, having a normal life, having also social life, having fun, but not having the fear and feeling guilty about all of this?
Well, I think it's all a question of, yeah, it's a question of balance, you know. It's everything is good in a matter of balance out in your diet. So it's okay to drink alcohol or to have meals that are maybe not as healthy as we eat every day, but it as long as it's not it's included in a healthy and a well-balanced diet every day throughout, that's fine. We can have a glass of wine on weekend, and we can still go to the restaurants and have a meal that's maybe a little higher in fat or in sodium, but it's okay because it's all a question of pleasure at the end and a balance.
Yeah.
Can I jump in as well for a second? Just what I tell people is trying to adhere to some of these recommendations as often as possible, but understanding we all need a life. And if it's every weekend you want to go out and have more than 3 drinks, that's something to reconsider. But if you did this once in a while throughout a year, understand there are like links to higher risk of cancer, but we all are human and we all make these decisions once in a while that aren't great for us. So if you can do it less often, that's something to consider.
Yeah, I love that balance of doing it less often and being able to enjoy life at the same time. So maybe just when also there's a question about the famous kombucha. Any comment on particularly this the use of kombucha and the nutritional effect of kombucha?
In regards to colon cancer itself, that's something that's unproven. But I mean, kombucha in and of itself is a healthy beverage. It's a fermented beverage that can be helpful in balancing your gut flora. So by all means, enjoy kombucha for that purpose.
Good. Okay. So on this note, we're going to have to move to and continue the journey if we want to finish it on time. So thank you for the great session. I think that great information. I'm sure the audience took a lot of it. So thank you, Judith, and thank you, Tracey. Cathy, thank you so much for sharing also your journey and your story. We're going to move to a 10-minute breathing exercise with Ken Dow. And after that, we're going to have a 5-minute break. The next and last session of the day already is understanding clinical trials, and we'll start at 3:50 sharp. So enjoy your wellness break, and let us all be back with the last session at 3:50.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.